Basically, all I do on this channel is obsess over eye candy games, so welcome to another video of exactly that. The less you know about a project, the more gaps you have to fill with your imagination, which is why I love covering upcoming games. Just as I was thinking about how there's really nothing currently happening in gaming that's giving me that childlike sense of excitement, this 13-minute gameplay trailer for a game called Black Myth: Wukong dropped out of the blue and started spreading like wildfire. In this video, I'll be going over what type of game this is and all the details about it that you need to know. Black Myth is an action-adventure RPG with souls-like combat, at least by the looks of it. It's made by an indie Chinese studio. Now, I know some of y'all probably died a little on the inside hearing that, and rightfully so. Chinese developers are well known for producing half-assed cash grab projects and filling them to the brim with aggressive microtransactions. This is in part thanks to the giant Chinese conglomerate that is Tencent, that has its slimy fingers in absolutely everything. So let's get the obvious concerns about Black Myth out of the way first. This is not a free-to-play MMO or anything close to that, at least based on the limited info we have so far. Most of the info comes from Daniel Ahmad on Twitter, who covers the Chinese gaming scene. According to him, it's a paid single-player action-adventure RPG, which hopefully means that it's a standalone experience with no microtransactions. It's also not made by a AAA studio, so these guys will hopefully have more freedom to follow their original vision. There are more than 40 people working at the game science studio, and they're currently hiring 19 more. God damn! What else do I even say? Are you seeing this? This game looks ridiculously good. Everything we saw is supposedly taken directly from the pre-alpha build of the game, and it's a result of more than 2 years of development. It's being developed in Unreal Engine 4, by the way. I highly recommend you check out the whole 13 minutes of gameplay after you're done with this video, but stay until the end first because I need your watch time, okay? Okay. The game is based on Journey to the West, which is a Chinese novel published in the 16th century. It's one of the great classical novels of Chinese literature and arguably the most popular literature in East Asia. You play as Sun Wukong, or the Monkey King, who is one of the main characters in the novel. I love this mythological setting. All of the characters we saw in the demo looked so unique, detailed and captivating, like something you'd expect from a From Software game. The devs took inspiration from games such as God of War, Monster Hunter World, and most obviously Sekiro. You can definitely see the influence of each of these, but there's still something strangely special and unique about this game. Now, in case you weren't sure, I am in fact not Chinese and therefore can't read the subtitles and comment on the story/writing. But let's talk about everything else. According to legend, Wukong has 72 forms, and in the game he'll have 72 unique abilities, which I think is just a ton of variety and could be very exciting. Not all of these abilities are unique forms, but in the demo we do see a few transformations. I'll get into the rest later, but the first is actually some sort of beetle, which I thought was very weird and unique, and I wonder how useful this form will be in stealth. It's also worth noting how instantaneous and seamless the transformations are, which is probably going to make use of next-gen SSD power. The combat is probably the single best looking thing about this game. It's so fluid and fast-paced. The sound design is great and the weapons look fucking badass. Even the non-ability attacks look crazy good. There's this arrow deflection that he does at one point with his staff. There's also a heavy attack where you jump up and slam your staff down. And we also see this running attack where you charge up your staff to unleash a heavy blow. This is the boss battle that we've been shown, and aside from the beast reminding me of the headless ape, the combat does look kinda similar to Sekiro in the best way possible. In true Souls-like fashion, you take a lot of damage from a single hit, which creates the sense that there's something actually at stake. Unlike in Sekiro, you do have a stamina and something like a mana bar. Stamina is used for dodging and attacks, but not for sprinting, while your special magic abilities drain your magic bar. There is also something like a parry system, but it looks like the Ard force field from The Witcher 3. In the lower left corner, we can see the ability cooldowns. There's 4 abilities shown, which might mean you can only equip 4 at a time. There's this ability to instantly freeze an enemy for a few seconds or until you hit them, which gave me goosebumps when he used it on the wolf thing in midair. The Ard style parry is also a magic ability, as well as the shadow clone jutsu. The beetle transformation is in the lower left, but the two more powerful beast transformations have separate icons in the lower right, which don't seem to regenerate over time, so this might be like an ultimate ability that you can only use once per checkpoint or something. These transformations are also acquired by defeating bosses. At one point, the player picks up the spear that a fallen mini-boss dropped, which I thought meant he now had the weapon at his disposal, but later on in the big boss battle, he actually transforms into the exact character he previously defeated. We also see the other beast form earlier in the demo, which I also assume was a mini-boss he previously defeated. It's this lion/monkey looking thing with its own unique attacks. I really wonder how many of these there are, because a ton of playable forms, all with their own unique abilities, sounds a bit too good to be true. It's also worth noting that all transformations have a timer in the lower left corner, so you won't be able to just not give a fuck and chill as a beetle for the entire game. Even if this game is a few years off from release, I can't imagine the visuals being this good looking in the final product. Everything from the density and textures of the environment to the details in character models, which there are often a lot of on the screen at the same time, looks just too good to be true. The engines have been capable of producing this for quite a while, but optimizing it to run on average hardware usually demands heavy downgrades. Of course, I hope I'm wrong and the hardware has caught up to this at the time it releases, because dear god, this fur gives me a raging desire to pet this good boy that's trying to kill me. If nothing you've seen yet has managed to convince you, you can ride clouds. Yes, like Goku. Honestly, this whole boss montage at the end makes me feel like this is a huge and ambitious project, and just this one trailer alone turned this game from something I didn't know existed 2 days ago into something that's now at the top of my anticipated games list. Black Myth is still likely at least a couple years off from release, but I'm so glad that I now have a new project to hype up with my lifeless voice on the channel. If you are, for whatever reason, interested in that, you know what to do. Drop me a little subscribe. Stay tuned, watch my future videos. I love you and good night.